Hi everyone, Austrian here. Today I'll show you how to use Navy and Air Force in World Conqueror 3. So first we'll cover the units, then I'll tell you which generals are the best. So here, as you can see, there are different types of naval units. The first one is submarine. So when we go to a shipyard, we can see all of these units. First is the submarine, 160 HP, decent attack, 13 mobility. This is because I have technology which grants me +4 mobility. You will have here number 9. It has some oil consumption and attack range. I've covered what all these statistics do in the previous guide, so now just for the special perks. For submarine, it's torpedo. Deals 200% more damage to battleships and carriers, but cannot attack land units. So, if we have a submarine and we attack a battleship or an aircraft carrier, then we deal more damage. We still deal the same damage to other submarines and to destroyers. And that's the submarine. Next, we've got the destroyer, which is the unit that you should almost never build. And that is because it is twice as expensive as a submarine, but its damage is pretty much the same. It has slightly higher maximum damage but a lower minimal damage, so the average damage output will be about the same. HP is about the same, oil consumption is higher, and the perk you're getting is naval artillery, 50% extra damage to fortress units and 50% less damage to land units. So you can now attack land units with a destroyer, however you'll be dealing less damage. And that is pretty much useless. Only case is when you want to attack a city, like here Havana. You just can bring a destroyer over here and attack it to lower the city's defenses, because they are counted as like a fortress unit, so you deal extra damage against that. However, I would almost never recommend building a destroyer. Next is the battleship, which is over twice the price of the destroyer, and it is actually a pretty good unit. So here you're getting much more health, 320. You have a little less mobility, but you get an extra attack range, so you can attack from 2 tiles away. So you can attack the enemy and they cannot retaliate because submarines have attack range of 1, so that's very nice. And next thing is the anti-air gun. So if you would want to bomb a battleship, then it can defend itself, so it takes a little less damage, and its damage output is also better. So generally battleships are a good option to have. However, beware of submarines that can deal huge damage to them. So that's it for the battleship. Next is the aircraft carrier, and the most expensive naval unit, which acts a bit differently than all other units. It has less health than battleship, more than destroyer. Its damage is about the same as that of the destroyer. Its mobility is the same as battleships. Its oil consumption is higher. However, one thing worth noticing is that it actually, even though it shows here attack range 1, it can attack far away. Why is that? The stats that are showed here for the attack and attack range are actually only if the enemy attacks an aircraft carrier. So this sub, for example, moves here and attacks my aircraft carrier, then it will retaliate using these statistics. However, when you attack using your aircraft carrier, then you instead use a bomber. This is same kind of bomber as you would have from a city. So I launch here, 61 damage, and I use this, 43. Well, this is a bit of an RNG thing, but basically these are the same attacks from aircraft carrier and from a city. And then there are of course generals. So for aircraft carriers, You don't want generals with high navy ability. I mean it's nice because if enemy attacks you, then you can actually destroy them and not lose your aircraft carrier, but the main stat is the Air Force ability, so you want that maxed out for your aircraft carrier generals. So as you can see, the attack here didn't increase a lot. However, if I attack with Goring, who has 5-star Air Force ability, good Air Force medals, then this damage output is way higher. And this way above this, so you can see that this is only when someone attacks you, not when you attack someone else. Okay, so this is pretty much it for Navy. Now let's get over to Air Force. So, there are 4 aircraft types. The first one is fighter, it's the cheapest. It's often the best option actually. It has attack range, every Air Force unit here has the same attack range. It is dependent on your tech. I think it starts from 6 tiles. On max tech it's 10 tiles, so it's pretty good. Range, with Air Force strikes, you just go and do some damage here. There were city defenses that came into play, but you can just see that deals some damage, not very much. Now the fighters get the airstrike perk, which deals 40% extra damage to infantry units. So, for example, here we dealt a little more damage with these attacks than we did on that aircraft carrier. So as you can see, this perk does actually work. Next is the bomber attack. I've already showed you what it does with the aircraft carrier, but here we have the bombing ability instead of the airstrike. So this deals 25% extra damage to armored units and 50% more to fleet units. So fleet units 54, 43, now tank. Okay, this does have air defense, so it's not the best showcase here, but it is a little bit more damage to armored units as well, but still less than to naval units. Okay, so the third type of aircraft is paratrooper. This deals no damage on by itself, but it deploys units. Some kind of infantry. It is always infantry, but what kind of infantry depends on your tech. Air Force is very tech dependent. Everything pretty much is in this game. However, Air Force is the most important one. Air Force tech is the one that you want to max out ASAP. So, for max level Air Force tech, you get commando units, which are very good. For a bit lower Air Force tech, you get motorized infantry, which is still good. It's sometimes actually better because of its high mobility. It has high mobility than commando units, so sometimes it's actually better to have lower tech, but generally speaking, commando units are better than motorized infantry. On lower levels, you'll have either assault infantry, let me just show you, assault infantry or light infantry, which are very weak, so you want to get it at least to motorized infantry level as soon as possible. And then the last attack from Air Force is the strategic bomber. It is definitely more expensive, a very all-consuming attack. It deals a little bit more damage than like a regular bomber, but instead of regular bombing, which deals extra damage to armored units and fleet units, this has strategic bombing, which deals 80% more damage to fortress units. So here we have a fortress and we deal 46. Sometimes it deals like real good damage and sometimes it's not so good. And now we deal 75. About 50% of the time the damage is trash It's only slightly better than if you would use like a fighter, and sometimes you just get huge damage. Don't know how that works, but it works like that. Okay, one more thing worth noticing is that strategic bombers can carry nuclear weapons, hydrogen bombs, antimatter bombs, all kind of that stuff. Then the regular damage from it is overwritten by the bomb's damage. So that's also worth noticing. Next is how you build those things. Because I have covered the costs, however, you need a certain level of either airfield or shipyard to build all those things I've been talking about. So, level 1 shipyard allows you to build submarines and destroyers, level 2 allows you to build battleships, level 3 allows you to build carriers. Same applies to Air Force. Level 1 airfield allows you to use fighters and bombers. Level 2 allows paratroopers. Level 3 strategic bombers. And next I'll cover quickly missiles. They work pretty much the same as Air Force, and they don't have any buffs to any specific units. They deal more damage, they don't use oil, but they do consume steel. Their range is dependent on both tech and the type of missile. The SRB missiles have 12 range on max tech level, and LRB have 20 range. So this is pretty much full map range on like campaign missions. In Conquest, of course, it's not full map range, not even close to that. All kind of missiles can carry nuclear weapons, and the nuclear weapons themselves, and their damage is tech dependent. I think their cost is not tech dependent, they always cost the same. I generally recommend only using atomic bombs because they're the cheapest. And as you can see, hydrogen bomb deals the same damage, just has a little shockwave, so it's around the target you hit. Also gets some damage, but it's not a lot. As you can see, 50, that's almost nothing. And you can also hit your allies or even your own units with this. So I generally don't recommend hydrogen bombs, especially because they take longer to build, because as you can see, when you start producing a nuclear bomb, it takes 2 turns for it. To complete hydrogen bomb, if I'm not mistaken, takes 3 turns. So let's just quickly... Okay, I can produce one, but just trust me that it takes 3, and the antimatter also takes 3 or maybe even 4 turns. As you can see, it has 2 grid radiation damage. Antimatter bombs in reality don't create any radiation like that, but okay, let's just say that it's just big splash, big splash damage. They do deal a little bit more, but that's negligible, so I only recommend using regular atomic bombs in 90% of cases, or even 95. They will be better than those other options. So this is pretty much it for today. Okay, let's... I said that I'll cover Air Force journals quickly, so let's do that. For Air Force journals, the skills you're looking for is, of course, the Air Force ability. Mobility is nice as well, and you want to have some economic perks and survivability perks, because economic perks, well, you'll be usually having your Air Force journal standing in a city, so you might as well get some extra resources from it, and survivability, because generals in cities are often targeted by enemy airstrikes, so you want them to survive for longer, so you should have some survivability perks on them. For naval journals, generally you want high navy ability. Marching is nice, but rarely as important as other things. Like for navy, usually don't fight over large areas, so marching is not that important. You want to have some damage perks for sure. Survivability is also nice, but it's not as important. So for Navy, the best free-to-play generals are Mikava. Is the best actually free-to-play naval general. The second best is Horton, which I don't have here. And for Air Force, Bitrish is the best. I don't think I'll see him anywhere here. No, but Bitrish appears in the rotational shop, and he has a very good Air Force perk. But second best is Goring, thanks to his economic perks. So this is it for today. I hope you learned something new. If you did, please like and subscribe, and see you next time.